We're coming to you from the Turbine Hall in Newtown in Johannesburg. Thank you for staying with Morning Live and welcome to the Art Bulletin. More often than not, grown-ups take playing in playgrounds for granted, or rather as a want instead of a need. It goes without saying that kids differ, and so does redefined properties. The company is currently constructing a playground at the Johannesburg Zoo, which is set to be complete by next week.
This specific project obviously doesn't just give them an opportunity to play. It's within the recreational environment of the zoo. It also teaches children about conservation. And a very nice other part of this park that I'm extremely passionate about is the paraplegic equipment that we've installed here. When we came and looked at the equipment the first time when we took around the park, it just dawned on us how many children actually visit the zoo that are disabled. They can stay in their wheelchairs, get onto the equipment and have fun with the rest of the kids. By the 30th of July, we have a launch event at 10:30 that morning, and as from that day it will be opened and the public will be able to access it.
African Gothic is a bold new international film version of Risa de Wet's iconic masterpiece Diepe Grond. The film had its South African and African premiere this week at the Durban International Film Festival.
I was very fortunate to be able to be part of such an endeavor where we got to really enter a world that many people wouldn't even know existed. And it's a world of hope and challenge and pain and magic. And it's all centered around these South African characters.
The French government has honored one of South Africa's greatest artists, William Kentridge, for his role in last year's French season in South Africa. Kentridge was bestowed the Commande de l'Art et Lettres.
Kentridge was honored as part of the Bastille Day celebrations in Pretoria. It is the highest accolade from the French government when the country's Order of Arts and Literature are awarded. French Ambassador Elizabeth Barbier made Kentridge commander in this order, which is France's highest rank in the Order of Arts and Literature. Only 20 people in the world of the arts are honored in this way each year. Barbier says the 1987 Standard Bank Young Artist for Visual Art is referred to as a South African citizen, but is also a citizen of the world. Kentridge and his wife lived in France for a year in the 1980s while he studied, and said the country remains a part of his development as an artist.
The finalists for the 16th Annual Business Day BASA Awards have been announced. This is the only award ceremony that celebrates the relationship and partnerships between corporate South Africa and the arts industry, with this year seeing just under 170 entries.
We are delighted with the extent of nominees that we have, the diversity of nominees, and the fact that we had such a growth in entries as well, and that was very exciting for us. I think given that we are in a pretty tough economic climate at the moment, not just in South Africa, but globally as well, the fact that businesses are still supporting the arts and that we're seeing such amazing projects come up was really well worth the wait and very exciting for us. We've seen entries like ArcelorMittal, Bidvest, Estee Lauder companies, and these are companies that have not entered in the past before. Adidas was one of our new entries as well, and one of the nominees, the finalists. So for us to see new names in the mix of companies that are sponsoring the arts is very, very positive and a good sign for us to see what businesses are doing.
Our host venue, Turbine Hall, is currently hard at work putting together the first ever Turbine Art Fair, which promises to fulfill all the art viewing and art buying needs for lovers across Johannesburg. The event takes place right here next weekend.
I thought it would be fabulous to have a fair where everything is either from young and upcoming artists or perhaps slightly cheaper works from more established artists. We have 3 or 4 different spaces. In the top we have galleries exhibiting, also have a charity or an NGO actually that's involved in visual literacy in Bali. Absolutely marvellous organisation, and they're going to be showing some things. We have a champagne bar and we've got a coffee bar so that people can come here, hang out, have a good time, have a glass of wine, maybe go back and look at the art, but in a really non-threatening way. You know, galleries can sometimes be quite intimidating.
Against all odds, focusing on women, societal challenges and disability. That's the theme for this year's Women's Arts Festival, which was officially launched on Wednesday.
For the first time, we're going to produce a production particular that's going to focus on persons with disabilities, that is artists, and Vicky Sampson and Nia Nell, and that will be one production celebrating ability, because artists are artists irrespective if they're disabled. We also have Nancy that looks at the gay universal issues and challenges that we have, and particularly It's a Man's World, who was directed by Jerry Powie and looks at macho culture. Where are we currently now with our cultural legacies, with our traditional laws? What impacts does it have on gender equality? So it's a play being produced for this particular festival.
Artists with a keen interest to work with the Gutha Institute and put to good use their Gutha-owned main space are welcome to forward proposals for the March to December 2014 season. Here's their Culture Programs Manager with more information.
It's a public call for proposals for the Goethe on main space. So any sort of art project, dance project, literature, theatre, music, etc. That'd like to realise that this artist space is welcome for submission until the 15th of August. The idea is when you submit your project that you also submit your artist CV, give us a sense of what you'd like to accomplish, etc. There's nobody that does not per se qualify, but it's on merit, it's on artistic merit that projects are selected. It's very important to have a free platform where experimental work can be realized. It's quite difficult, especially for younger artists and for artists working in spaces that are commercially not viable, to be able to produce. So this space is particularly for that.
And that's a wrap of today's Art Bulletin from Turbine Hall in Newtown, Johannesburg. You can check them out at www.theforum.co.za. For more insightful and artistic interactions, you can email us at morninglive@sabc.co.za. Check out our Facebook page. The address is The Art Bulletin, and in brackets, Morning Live. Our Twitter handle is simply @The Art Bulletin. Until next weekend, it's a goodbye from us.
Another sterling job done there by the team on the Art Bulletin. Of course, you can catch it every week, Saturday and Sunday.